What's on Your Mind is sponsored by ACC 339 Dudley Road, New Style Radio 98.7 FM, Breakthrough Studios, and Reggae Jam Jam.
Good afternoon. How you doing? Welcome to another program in the series of What's on Your Mind. I am Carl. The program is produced by Breakthrough TV. And let me say to all you guys out there, it's International Women's Day. So let me say happy celebration, whatever you guys are doing. Yeah. All you mothers out there, the daughters, the girls, big shout out to you. Hope you're having a good day and hope you're celebrating very good. Gonna talk about this a little bit later on in the program because I got a couple of things I actually want to say about this. You know what I mean? Not from a man's point of view, but I actually talked to a couple of ladies a couple of days ago, you know what I mean, and see how I'm gonna approach this. So I've got something very, very important I want to say, you know. And they was a little bit also concerned about what is going on sometimes and some things they don't understand. So that's gonna be in my rant. As you know, I generally look at my normal story or some of the stories that I actually picked up across the world, also giving you those stories as well. And speaking of women, I've actually got a wonderful, wonderful woman in the studio with me today. And I know she's made her way in the bad weather because the weather is very bad at the moment. You know, we've got a lot of snow. And she pursued. We said she didn't have to come, but as you know, this is a live stream. But she determined, and she here with her presence. I want to say big welcome to the show, Sister Maureen. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
And how is everything going?
Yeah, everyth's going fine, you know,
Yeah.
Carl. Like you said, I made it through the snow.
You made it through
and
the
it's
snow.
it's always worth it to be in your company.
That's flattering. That is flattering. What's my head logo? What's my head logo? Whoops. That is good. It is good to see you. So how you been? What you been up to?
Oh, well, as you know, I'm in a band, so I've been practicing, rehearsing, and we're doing the odd gig every now and again.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of my time and also the work I do as well.
That's marvelous.
Doing okay.
That's marvelous. I don't know. You got a big show coming up at the Jam House.
At the Jam House,
in Birmingham,
yeah.
not far from the Jewelry Quarter.
So that's going to be really good.
That's going to be really good. It's got a good sound in there, actually.
Yes, it
The
has.
acoustic in there is quite good.
It is
You know what I
very
mean?
good, yeah.
I've been there quite a few times. The first time I actually went in there was many years ago. I think it was owned by an actor.
No, Jules Holland.
Yeah,
Jules Holland.
Well, this is even before Jules Holland.
Oh, really?
I went
Oh,
in there.
wow.
I used to work at a place, and what we actually used to do, we used to go down there and have our Christmas party.
Oh.
Well, they've actually totally gutted it from how it used to be, because you used to go in, and when you got upstairs where the stairs is, it was just all steps, goes to a higher level, right up again.
Really?
Yeah, so they've actually totally got that part of the building. And they've changed it. They've actually made it flatter. But it was like in 3 flights. So you had the first floor, you have the second floor, and then you have to go up to another floor. And it was up that right in the corner. And you have tables and restaurants up there. So it is a nice place, and it is actually
nice,
changed.
yeah.
You know, I mean, it's a nice section. So you're celebrating Women's International Day. How you feeling
Yes.
about that?
I feel good. It's about time. But then again, Women's International Day. Every day is Women's Day.
I know you was gonna say that, you know. I know you was gonna say that. You like sometimes, as you know, I do my radio program and my radio show. I like sometimes I play a lot of reggae tunes.
Yeah.
And then it was actually February was reggae month, and then somebody said every day is reggae month. So you know, it's like that. You know, I mean, so it's just one of those things. I want to say big shout out to you, Carlos Gavidan. Carlos Gavidan, you're living there in the Caribbean, and let me say a big shout out to you. And I was having a conversation last week. I'm gonna ask you this as well. I was having a conversation last week about dopey. My conversation was about dopey, and Carlos, big shout out to you, Carlos, once again. Carlos said to me he's seen a lot of dopey and he's got a lot of experience with dopey. So let me ask you then, what is your experience of dopey? Or should I say, call it dopey. I'm not going to call it ghost. Call it dopey. That's what we used to. What is your experience of ghosts?
Well, I used to be in Jamaica when I was a young kid, I was probably about 10 years old, and there was all the talk about duppy and, you know, rolling calf and all that. Yeah, you know. But I don't know, I think, and some people say, you know, if you see a duppy, it's probably your grandpa, your mother, and stuff like that. But I don't believe that
You don't
though.
believe it?
Sorry, no.
Have you ever had any sightings or anything like that? I mean, or any what you call sort of feel or any emotions or anything you like your sensation where your head is raising. You hear when your head is raising and your head swell when you actually see something. That's sort of because
Oh.
a lot of people describe it as that, doesn't they? When they see something.
My sister and my brother could tell you things because they lived in Jamaica.
Yeah, yeah.
And they tell us stories of how they're in bed and something was pulling off the bed sheets. It wasn't. No one was there.
Yeah.
But it was a duppy pulling off
It's
the
a
bed
put-
sheet.
yeah.
So so things like that have happened. And I don't know if you've ever been in your sleep
Yeah.
and you feel something on your chest.
Yeah.
Someone's trying to stifle you.
I've never had that.
You never had that?
I've never had that. I've never had
I've had that. So what are these things?
Yes.
Interesting.
I've had an experience though. I've had an experience. I don't know if it was a dream, but what it was.
Yeah.
I've had an experience where I'm upside down walking in the room.
Oh my God. I don't like the sound of that.
And my feet, my head is down, and my feet is walking up there.
Okay.
And that could be a very,
That's
very
scary.
weird experience, isn't
Yeah.
it? I don't know what it was. It probably was just my brain messing with me.
Probably your brain. How much did you have to drink now?
I didn't. I don't drink that
Just
much.
checking, okay.
I don't drink that much. If I have a little drink, I will have just a little tittle
Just a tot.
in my tea or whatever, because
Okay.
I don't drink that much. That means no, I'm not prone to drink that way. You know what I
Okay.
mean? But I know you mentioned drinks. There says a lot of Duppy story has been told when you have the white rum. You know what I mean? A lot of Duppy pills. A lot of people see Duppy, more Duppy when they have the white rum. Guys, don't forget, guys, you can put up your comment about Duppy. I know what a way to start a Women's International Day. Anyway, Maureen, I know you got a wonderful poem.
Yes.
Just one of your poems about International Women's Day. And tell us what this poem is all about.
Okay, this poem is called My Identity.
Your identity, yeah.
So it says, Black African, African Caribbean. My ID is open season for all with an opinion. Armed with loaded agendas to squeeze me in to a plaster cast that's so restricting. Data collection, minority surveys, I am categorized in so many ways. Open, dissected, sprawled agape, like a lab animal with no escape. From the bottom of my feet to the tip of my hair, information gathered and shelved somewhere. Factual, fiction, all seems to find its place in the hand of he who often lacks a face. Scientific gurus and doctors of spin profess to own a savvy and inkling of the machinations of the human psyche, especially one of my hue and prescribed identity. Embedded in society are three theoretical roots, comparing a superior mind to that of wild brutes. Just because the hat fits doesn't mean it suits, or that we should act deaf, blind, or be mutes. To be likened to the ape, akin, I'm told, a narrative to a child. Now I'm far too old. I've shedded the skin that was waterlogged and buried the dead horse that was once flogged. Now a mirage of hierarchical gains paves our path, spurred on by the famous caught in its aftermath, jeweled with fake IDs and names branded, birthright taken in a way that was underhanded. Legend means I choose to leave a legacy, something of worth unbridled by carnality, and where materialism holds no claim on the quality and the acquisition of my name. I don't want to surrender my will to media hypes or be conformed to the millennia stereotypes. I choose to separate myself from any sham and look to a superior source for who I am. So, no matter the rhetoric or flowery speech, it is this conclusion that I have reached. I am so much more than a man-made label or a number or graph on a league table. I am more than a token, a study of genetic strand, or the expert in an uncharted land, bubble wrapped in bureaucratic red tape and a correctness that fails to mind shape. I am dynamic and I have potentials to realize, for I was but a twinkle in the Creator's eyes. now deemed worthy of having the knowledge that my identity is hewn from God's image.
Marvelous. Fantastic. What inspired that?
I think just sometimes the way you're treated or you're viewed or not even seen, you're invisible, you know, or people always seem to have an expert, they're experts about your life and they don't want to know your narrative. And it's like, no, let me tell you who I am. I will define me.
That's right.
You don't define me.
That's right.
I will define me because I know that I can put a positive on that. I can shine, but you're going to dummy me down and I don't want that. So it's about that really. It's just, and it's all our struggles really.
It is all our struggles.
Especially women as well.
Women
Women
as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Marvelous. Absolutely fantastic. Great. Absolutely love that. You may read another one later on.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Anyway, no, we're still talking about women. I want to say a big shout out to all the women that's been in my life. Yes, because I can't not do that. You know what I mean? All the women who's actually been in my life. The other thing I want to say, on all the women, they're not here now, but they've gone. All my aunties, you know what I mean? All my cousins, all where I'm coming from. I want to say big shout out to all the women in my life. And I have a cousin that sometime many years ago, she always jokes around, and she's a lady, wonderful lady. Yeah. And I recall when we link up, we always talk about how our aunties and our grandmothers and our parents always praying for us.
Oh yes.
And then I remember I was laughing with her, and she said to me, Carl, we shouldn't laugh because those aunties or those mothers or those ones who keep praying for us, they are the ones that actually keep us going.
That's right.
Which is marvelous.
I believe that, yes, definitely.
Totally
oh, definitely.
And
yeah.
that has stayed with me for all my life. Big shout out to you, Helen, wherever you are. Big shout out to you. Right, guys, as you know, I always look at a few things that is happening across the world. And I'm not going too far across the world because I'm coming to Birmingham. Birmingham, Coventry Road, Small Heath. There has been chaos in Birmingham, Small Heath, the 6th of March. And there was people, it was like a riot. A car went on the pavement and a guy get out his car and he's actually running up the street with a pole. I don't know what he's doing with the pole. And some residents are saying, we need to bring the army on the streets. Also, a lot of residents was also asking, where's the police? You know what I mean? So, as I say, we don't know what is happening up there. We see more and more day after day after day, our street is getting out of control. You know what I mean? And sometimes, as I say, we don't know what is going on.
We don't.
We don't know what's going on here,
We don't know what's going on, but people are very frustrated and angry.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna ask a dumb question. Why people so? I know we are living in hard times, but it's like people are sort of lost respect. They haven't got any manners. They haven't do. They just seem to can do what they want to do.
You know, it reminds me of.
What's that?
Reminds me of. Remember Ghostbusters?
Who you gonna call?
I know we were talking about Duppy earlier, but in Ghostbusters there was this blob. It was a goo.
Yeah,
remember the goo?
I remember
that was making people act in a really bad way and vicious and violent and swearing.
I think that's what that was.
There's some goo, but the question is, what is that goo?
Now you know. Now you draw me into something. Yeah, you know, because. You draw me into something there. I remember some. I was talking to a couple of colleagues some time ago, and we was having the chats, and we were saying why people act the way they act.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about a certain place, and he says to me, he says, you know what? Many years ago, a certain powerful force.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name the force.
Okay.
A certain powerful country gave these people this stuff. And it turns them into something else.
Oh, okay.
It turns them into something else, and that's why they're so bad, and they create so much violence. I could put I'm not gonna get any closer than that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I could name the place, and I could name the country.
Yeah.
They gave them something many years ago.
Yeah.
And it trickles down. You know what I mean? And it's that's what's caused the way people react. You know what I mean? In other words, what I was trying to say, they gave these people some drugs, and it flows into the different generations.
Okay.
And that's what in fact is what is happening at that particular period of time. And that was actually was saying.
Okay.
Interesting thought, isn't it?
It's interesting.
It's interesting.
Thought.
Yeah. I did say thoughts. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. As I said, this is a live stream. Now, let me go to London. Now, Chris Kaba. 24. His family has called for action. Chris was actually killed by a Metropolitan Police officer in September 5th, 2022. He was killed by NXY21, and he was actually killed in Stratham. And the police independent authorities have been investigating the case. And as I said, they've had the investigation. And Chris was killed. Chris wasn't armed. I must state that he wasn't armed. He was in his car, and he was being followed by police officers, also by unmarked car. No flashing lights, no nothing like that, any signs of police. However, his Audi was stopped, and a police officer comes in front of his car, stop his car, and he put a shot in Chris' car. He shoot Chris in the head, and Chris was taken to hospital, and Chris died. Yeah, and I say his family is calling for the action because it had taken too long. I mean, it's what, as I say, it happened in September. What is it now? And they need peace. They need something to happen. You know what I mean? So they can put this to bed and see exactly what happened. And I say, once before that, as I say to you, Chris was unarmed. This is what the investigation actually showed. You know what I mean? He wasn't armed. So it's, you know, it's a terrible situation.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. And I say, it's just say when this sort of thing happens, you seem to have to wait so long before you have to wait so long for the inquiry, and then you have to wait so long before the police investigate their own people, and as I say, they take their time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Yeah. Right. Now, let me move on. I want to say big shout out to you, Christine. Big shout out to you. Now, politics. Now, Matt Hancock. Now, Matt Hancock, you know Matt Hancock, he did all kind of stuff. He did funny things with the ladies and all the rest of it. In fact, he was also in what's that television program? You watch
I'm
television?
a Celebrity, Get Me Out.
No, see, I don't know what television is, so that's why I ask you. Because I know you were gonna be locked into that.
I did watch it.
A lot of you ladies, you know, are sort of locked into that. I don't watch it, but I know he was in this.
I watched it just for that.
You watched it just for that?
Just for that,
yeah. Now, Matt Hancock, as I said, and he actually told his aides he wanted to scare the pants off us during the COVID situation. And a lot of his text messages was actually leaked to the Telegraph. And a lot of it is actually coming out. And he says he wanted to scare us of when he was going to release when he was going to tell us about the next variant that was coming in, you know what I mean? And once he said the text actually shows he wanted to scare us because he was hoping the public would behave better. You know what I mean? And I say he was hoping the public would behave better, and so they can comply with all the rules of what was going on.
Wow.
This is a politician doing that. So you see, they're always doing something. And 1,000 text messages. He's actually they actually came across, and I say was actually leaked. I should say 1,000 text messages was actually leaked to the paper. So. It's just you just don't know what is going on sometimes, you know, with that sort of situation.
Yeah. And these are the people in power.
These are the people in power,
we
you know
trust.
what I mean? And they want to scare the pants off all of us. Instead of they just tell us the right thing, you know what I mean, and just say, guys, this is what you have to do. They're trying to frighten us, you know. I
suppose you'd call that duppy tactics.
You're back to the duppy thing again. I told you like your duppy, anyway. Oh Lord, you like your duppy. Now, my next story is like sad, very very sad. My next story. Now, this concerns a couple of teenagers that actually died in Wales, Cardiff, over the weekend. It was in a car crash, and the police had put out a missing report trying to find them. You know what I mean? And I think they never actually find them about 48 hours after. Now, the families are very, very concerned about that. They say the police should have acted swifter, and they should have, you know what I mean, they take too slow. Once again, we see the police comes under criticism, you know what I mean. They take too slow to respond to actually what was happening, you know what I mean. And I say three of these guys died, you know what I mean, and two are still critical in hospital, you know what I mean. So we say to the ones who died, you know, big condolence to their family, you know what I mean. And I say, the ones in hospital, we hope they recovered very, very soon. And these are very, very young people, you know what I mean? And they say, I think they was actually out for a night or whatever they was doing, you know what I mean? And I say, they went missing from the Saturday night, I think, you know what I mean? And they wasn't actually found till Monday. One of the relatives actually speak of how, one of the survivors actually speak of how she was trapped inside the car upside down, and 3 of the people that was in the car that was dead. So can you imagine how terrifying that is? Yeah. Very, 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 very
It's
terrifying.
sad.
You know what I mean? And so it is a very, very sad thing when you see something like that happens. You know what I mean? Especially this time of the year. Got the whole life ahead of them. You know what I mean? And I'm sure the police investigation will actually, or the police watchdog, I'm sure, will actually sort of get involved in that as well. You know what I mean? So up to exactly what happens. Details are still very. The details are coming out and coming out and coming out slowly and slowly, but we still haven't got to, still can't, what exactly happens, and we don't speculate. You know what I mean? There's always speculation, and there's always crazy thing that you see on FB and social media and all that kind of place. You know what I mean? Before people got their own evidence, or before there's a report. You know what I mean? We can't afford to do that, and we don't do that sort of thing. You know what I mean? So actually, we'll see what actually comes up next. Yeah. Don't forget to say to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Now, moving on. Wow, as I say, now, Jamaica. You know, I always go to Jamaica. Jamaica, how you doing, Jamaica? Hope all is well. Now, a businessman in Jamaica has been killed at a popular guest house, the White House, in Westmoreland, and they say he was shot, and they've actually killed him. You know what I mean? And say he was. His name is actually Sugar. They actually call him. You know what I mean? That is his nickname. You know. Also, there's also another man that was actually shot, which is called Baby. No, sorry, Boy. He was actually shot as well. And there's also 6 people has also been shot in separate incidents. You know what I mean? And so we see once again at the start of the year, there's so many guns going on in that place. Is that it's just ridiculous. I don't know when it's gonna slow down. It's gonna stop. You know what I mean? You don't know. I'll say we see this all the time. You know what I mean? We see this, and I must say this is not the only place that we see violence. You know what I mean? But it's what is happening at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And when you got family on that island, and when your descendants come from that island, you know what I mean? It's very, very troubling. And as I say. As I said many times, I can't understand a South. I don't like it. I know you don't like me to call it a small, but as I say, when I was going to school in Jamaica, it was 144 square miles. I know that's what I was taught. I know it's like to expand a little bit now. So when you're from an island like that, and you got families, and you got backgrounds, and you have inheritance from that family, it grieves you when you see people acting like that. When you see other crazy things is happening in the world, and you think, why, for hell's sake? You can't all come together. I know not everybody's doing this. You know what I mean? I know not everybody's doing this. But when you see things like that is happening, you think, why? You know what I mean? Can't you live together as brothers and sisters and put your weapons down and put your thing down? I know you're poor, but you're not the only poor country in the world. You know what I mean? And you're not the only country that probably being sort of wrecked in the world. Yeah. The Japanese was wrecked. You know what I mean? After the war, the Japanese was mashed up. Look at Japan now.
Yeah.
It's the reality of things.
Yeah.
Now, also moving on. Now, still with Jamaica. Now, the Jamaican government has actually pledged $100 million because there's a lot of drought going on in Jamaica. And PM Honis announced this on Friday that he'd be giving some money to help the drought to improve the condition of improving what's happening in the drought. And they said he noticed from about October there is a decline in the amount of rainfall on the island. So he's put all this into drought management and hope it will actually solve the situation. Whether or not it will, I don't know. I know many times over the past when I've actually visited Jamaica, some of the rivers that we actually used to play around with, or play around in, or swim in, the water has actually dried up. You know what I mean? I live next to one of the closest river I can remember used to go was actually called the Cave River. You know what I mean? The Cave River runs in a lot of our neighbors' property and also in close to our property. You know what I mean? And we used to go by the Cave River and swim. It runs from Trelawney right down into Clarendon, right down into St. Anne's, right down to the bottom of St. Anne's, right going down, and it sinks underground and it goes into Cave Valley. So I know what I'm talking about. So And as I say, we know sometimes those sort of. We notice when I actually go back, some part of the river was actually losing water. So as I say, it's just one of those things. Yeah. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Yeah. Now, Women's International Day. Now, Women's International Day, the theme is embracing equity and the social and economic justice, equity and equality. The UN has said digital innovation and technology for gender equality. When we embrace equity, we embrace diversity, my apologies, and unite and drive to success. Is that how you see it?
I do.
You do see it?
I do, because it's like a jigsaw puzzle.
Yes.
You know, or suppose it's a jigsaw puzzle with, say, like 2 halves, but it's all, you know, you put them together and you get a better picture.
Yeah.
You work with one, it's not complete.
Okay.
You know.
Marvelous.
So.
And I say, it's a great thing, because I know you said it before, it's a great thing celebrating Women's International Day. You know what I mean? And how does your family or your children, how they say it? How do they see it? Ooh. Or how do you say? I mean, how do you say it? Like even the younger generation? Because I've got something that want to rant about it. As you know, we talk about when I came into this show. I got something I need to rant about it about in Women's International Day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I've been actually talking to quite a few women. In fact, I've actually gone out and chat to a few women. But that's in my rants. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm going to give you, that's in my rants. And their feedback and something very, 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 very interesting that they actually said to me, you know what I mean? And it's International Women's Day, so we got you in the studio. Of course, we have to have you in the studio. Okay, guys, I say don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I want to say big shout out to you, Helen. Big shout out to you. June, how you doing? Marcia, how you doing? Glenna, how you doing? Norma, how you doing? Jennifer, how you doing? All women. If I forget you, please don't take it personal. Rose, how you doing? Jade, how you doing? Michelle, how you doing? Brenda, how you doing? Oh, I could go on. Pam, how you doing? Girline, how you doing? Dawn, how you doing? Miss Dunn, how you doing? Maggie, how you doing? There's so many of you. Big shout out to you. Big shout out to all you women across the world. All you ladies in Africa, big shout out to you. You know, Africa, the motherland. We say big shout out to you. We cannot forget Africa. You know, Women's International Day is not just in the West or in these countries, and it's always important that we, you know, we say Women's International Day. That's what it's called. That's what the international means. Yeah.
It does. Worldwide,
isn't it?
Yeah. So and every woman tells her story.
Every woman tells a story, and every woman's got a story to tell.
And everyone's got a story worth listening to. Definitely.
That's great. That is absolutely marvelous, marvelous. When did this start? Do you know when it started?
Oh, I don't know.
You don't know when it started?
Should have started from Eve, innit?
It started from Eve. I have to think who
That's
Eve.
my take on it. I had to think who that was.
You almost got me there. I have to think who Eve was, but I do know. You almost got me off guard. You almost got me off guard. And my producer would beat me up and say, "You don't know who Eve is." Yeah, the lady who tempted. Who did he tempt?
She was tempted by a serpent.
Anyway. She was tempted by the serpent. Or was the serpent tempted by her?
Well, there you go.
Oh, no. Oh, dear me. Big shout out to you, Donna. Hope all is well with you and your family. Pastor Nelson, big shout out to you, sir. Hope all is well with you. Big shout out to you. Now, let me move on. Now, the demand for Kanye West shoes is at high demand. Yes. And even because he's been dropped by Adidas, his shoes are still doing very, very well. The success for his shoes doesn't look like there's any stopping. You know what I mean? So no matter what they seem to do to Kanye West, he seems to jump back. You know what I mean? So he's not he's doing good. And as I say, regardless of some of the stuff you see on social media and some of the negative stuff you see on social media and all the nasty things you actually see on social media about Kanye West, his shoes are actually doing great. And they say Adidas has actually lost a lot of money. In fact, they've lost billions of pounds.
Wow.
I should say dollars, because dollars in the US, because of the deal they had with him. Yeah. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Now, this wonderful lady, because we're talking about Women's International Day, so we have to bring the ladies in, of course. In LA, Billboard Women Music Awards was held in early March. I think it was held on the 4th of March. And this is to honor influential female in music, also artists in music, also women producers in music, and women executive in music. So all the women's being honored. And of course, the wonderful Shensia was there, which is actually marvelous. The 26-year-old Jamaican is actually doing great. You know what I mean? And she was, a lot of people say she was there, and she was, for the first time, she was actually showing some skin. Can I say that? Because you generally see Shensia sort of cover up and show up things, but she's actually in a very, very nice dress there. I actually do like her jewelry.
And her nails.
And her nails are very, very long. And she's actually a wonderful lady. I'm not saying she's a young 26-year-old doing great. I mean, she's a very, very rich lady now. Some of the things you see, a brand new car and all that sort of stuff. She looks really, really, very, very well. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, marvelous. So we say big shout out to Shensia. Now moving on. Now, Damien Junior Gong, yes, reggae dancehall artist, has said the sound of Jamaica and the young Jamaican artists who are actually making the music are not seems to be attracting the attention of Jamaican who actually love the music. So he doesn't think they're not supporting the younger producers or the younger artists who's coming through with the reggae, with the, what I would call reggae music or dancehall music. So he says it is actually a struggle, and he should know, because he's a very, very big producer. You know what I mean? He's a producer artist just like Kabaka Pyramid and a lot of others. When we actually talk with Third World in the Simmer Down in Handsworth Park in 2022, Third World was actually saying they're looking to hook up with Damian Julian Marley to go and record a brand new album. So he's big in demand, you know what I mean? So, but as I say, that's what he's come out with and say at the moment.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
It's interesting, isn't it?
Huh?
It's interesting because everything seems to be always, like in England anyway, always flavoured for the younger people, and the older ones you tend to be out. So that's interesting.
Yeah, what is
that it's happening there for him.
What is right to send the music? Maybe because like one of the music is like sometimes I want to criticize anyone. Sometimes you don't sort of have this sort of producer that produce, you know what I mean? Come on, you ain't no good reggae music when you hear good music. No, you know what I mean? And some of the stuff you hear now, and I'm not criticizing the music in any way. What is the reality of things? You know what I mean? Those of you who listen to music or know your music, it's the reality of things. Sometimes you hear some things. You're an artist, I'm an artist. We listen to music all the time. We've been doing it for years. You know what I mean? And some of the stuff you hear now, you think, oh God, what is that? Isn't it?
Yeah,
okay.
That's true.
Yeah. Now, this artist, moving on. Now this artist, these guys are back. Now, T.O.K. has reunited, and they actually got new music out. They hook up with One Extra, BBC One Extra, and I think they did a special on last Tuesday, which was actually marvelous. And they said they've got a brand new album out, and I think they actually split in 2015. They actually split, and remember. Shake your bum bum, shake your bum bum. You remember that one?
Yeah,
No, what was that? A famous tune they had.
Oh, don't ask me.
Big tune. Don't you remember? Footprints. You remember Footprints? One set of footprints. I can't sing it because of copyrights. I can't sing it because I don't want to get myself a copyright. And they actually had a song which I actually love. And there's something about the eagle. The eagle, you know what I mean? The eagles actually, eagles cry. I love the rhythm for Eagles Cry. So those guys are back, you know what I mean? And we'll see actually what they do next or what I say, but they're back with brand new music, you know what I mean? And I know that the Footprint was actually a fantastic tune, you know what I mean? Everybody loved that Footprint. Where it was When You Cry, I Cry Too. You recognize it now.
Okay.
You remember that one? When you cry, I cry too. You know, one set of footprint in the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
track. You know, that was
Yeah.
that was a big thing. Yeah, I got it.
You got it in the end.
I got it in there. That was a big track.
Yeah.
Right, so as I said, they are actually back together again. So it's good to see. I mean, good to see what music they actually come out with. It's good to see when you see artists reunite and they come out with good tunes. Yeah. Now, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Now, I've reached what I would say is my rant. My rant. Women's International Day. Now, I've been talking to quite a few different ladies, and they've been telling me some things that concern them, because what they say to me, what they say, embrace equity. That is their concern, of embracing equity. Yeah, and some form of the bit about gender equality, and they don't have anything about that. They don't got any disroot about that. But what is actually, I've been talking to quite a few different ladies, and what they're trying to say to me, it says we feel that we cannot say what we want to say these days. These are like ladies from the 40s right up into the 60s. They say we are born with uterus. Yes, that's how we tell women, male, and that's how we tell women different from male. Women are born with uterus or a womb. That is how it goes back from beginning time. Now they say the embracing unity is like forcing something on us, or they're bringing this thing into celebrating International Women's Day. They don't have any problem of celebrating International Day of Equality or everything like that. But this, what they're saying now, this is like a sort of something else they're actually pushing onto us. You know what I mean? Which leave them a little bit concerned, in the sense that if I go into a toilet, or if I got a colleague as a woman, and I see her coming to the toilet, I'm gonna think, what is going on here? Yes, and that's how I feel. And as I said, and this is coming into a male toilet. If you see a woman going into a male toilet who you know as a woman, and she's gone into a male toilet, you're gonna think, what is happening here? If my daughter goes out and she goes into a woman's toilet and she sees a male coming to the woman's toilet who she knows as a male, who just decided he's a transgender one day and the next day he's not a transgender, it's less people concerned. And that is what the women have been actually talking to, is actually been saying. Does that make any sense to you?
It does make sense, because it can be quite scary, isn't it?
Exactly.
And I do understand that sometimes you don't know what to say.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you saw, because I've walked into a men's toilet by accident.
Yeah.
But then if you imagine if I, for instance, saw a male walking into a toilet that I've just come out of,
Yes.
I could say, oh, no, this is for the women. I could offend that person.
Yeah.
Because they could be a transgender.
Exactly.
Do you understand me? And
Yeah, sure.
nowadays you've got to be so careful. So it's hard to know where to put your foot
Or what to say.
and what to say. You don't want to offend either, but you don't want to be offended as well.
Exactly. And they say,
You know.
I mean, a lot of these women I've talked to, they said this year they have to dig deep, really, really deep, to try and sort of understand this and to see where they set or where to go with this.
Yeah. And not just that as well, because sometimes I think more the processes need to be thought out more
Yes.
to make sure that everybody is safe.
That's right.
Because if I've had a daughter, for instance, I'll make sure she goes into the ladies' toilet,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
But then can you imagine if there's a man in that toilet?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I'm going to be quite concerned about that
Of course,
as a mom.
of course
you
you
know,
are.
but that could be a transgender man,
Exactly.
a woman.
And you don't
but it
want
might
to
not
offend.
be. Yeah, but
And
it might not be
also.
You see, so you can have people who are quite unscrupulous.
Yes.
Who could be playing that game as well. So therefore, there need to be structures in place that make sure that people are really safe on both sides. Because
right.
it could be a genuine transgender person.
Yeah.
They could be beaten to a pulp because
Exactly.
somebody's got the wrong presumption. So we have to make sure that everyone is safe.
Exactly, totally.
You know.
And it's not, we're treating everyone as the same, you know, but as I say, there is concern, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And as I say, when I was actually talking to these women, and I'm talking to women, I've gone out there and I've get quite a few different women and tell me their opinion, you know what I mean, and how they actually feel about this. And they say that is how they actually come in. And they say one particular woman, she says I've got a uterus. She said I'm from the old school, you know what I mean. I'm from the old school. I find women from the 40s right up into the 60s. This is what they was actually concerned with, and also what we call the British African Caribbean women, you know what I mean, was also very, very concerned about this. And the only thing I could say to them when I was actually talking, I said to them, listen, what we all need to do, we all need to sit down, get a program together, you know what I mean, so we can invite people your age, say from the 40s to the 50s. We can invite the younger people from the 16 to the 17. We can invite all those people in the middle, and we all sit down and we all have a conversation, you know what I mean, a proper conversation and a proper debate of how we can sort of work this out, how we can make everybody feel safe, you know what I mean, or we can make everybody feel without offending anybody, or without saying the wrong things to anybody, or without causing any malice or any sort of any sort of bad feelings with anybody. And I think probably that is the best thing we can actually
because I suppose we've got to understand as well not what it's like, because we can never understand what it's like.
No.
But we have to take the narrative of a person who wants to be a transgender person, because what they say is that they don't feel natural in their own body.
Yeah.
So we can't say, well, that's rubbish or not.
No, you can't.
Because that's that person's narrative.
Yes.
We have to respect it.
Yeah.
But the same thing as well, they have to respect our narrative as well.
That's right.
And it's how do you find a happy medium, and that's what needs to be found, because you can't disregard one in order to accept the other, because someone's going to be in pain.
That's right. And I say, when I talk to a lot of these women as well, they say to me, I like being called a woman. I like being called miss. I like being called queen. I like being called sister. You understand to me? I like that's she said, a lot of them said, this is where I'm going. I like being called a mother. I like being called sister, because that's what I'm used to. Suddenly you put something on us that's, you know what I mean, that is very sort of, we're trying to understand it, you know what I mean, or we're trying to work with it, but it's not very easy.
No, it isn't easy.
Yeah.
It's totally different to what we're used to.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's a new norm.
Yeah. And I said the what we call the LGBT. I mean, I think that word came into being, which is fairly 1990. You know what I mean? Which is fairly new. 1990 is not very, very far away in our lifetime. You know what I mean? So that term coming into being in 1990. And they say we're not here to talk about discriminating about anybody. I must make that perfectly clear, because I know what some of you can be like. Let me put it clear. So we're not here to discriminate about anybody. We're just talking about different concerns from what we could say in a heterosexual point of view. You know what I mean? As well as that, you know, that's what we are actually talking about. Because sometimes heterosexual people don't seem to can get a decent conversation without being shut down. You know what I mean? And that is the reality of things. You know.
But I suppose the thing is that when we talk, we've got to talk from a basis of love as well.
That's right.
Love and respect.
That's right. Of course.
And that covers so much.
Yeah.
But when we're being nasty because we don't understand someone's story, we don't even try to understand or listen, then that's what causes a problem. Do you know what I mean?
My classic to that, understanding is one of the best medicine that you can ever have. Understanding and listening. Once you can, look, if you can listen and understand, you're there.
Yeah.
And I say that is so. And I had to. So I don't want to spoil one international day, but as you can see, when I actually go out and talk to quite a few different women, and this is what pressed me. You know what I mean, to talk about this, and I think it's actually a good time to actually talk about it and Women's International Day, because a lot of these women who are actually celebrating International Day, they actually feel this is what they're actually feeling. So, and we're talking about celebrate this big celebration and celebrating different people and also different people's success. It's good to sort of put this in and see where they're at. The other thing I want to say as well, it's also while we're celebrating, or he's talking like a man, isn't he, from a man point of view? No, I'm not talking like a man. I'm talking from a general point of view, because I know some of you are going to say that as well. No, I'm talking from a general point of view. The other thing as well I want to say, I also talked to a couple of ladies, and they said to me, it is good to celebrate those guys from the past. You know what I mean? Your Rosa Parks. Name me another one. Your Rosa Parks.
Harriet Tubman.
Yeah, Harriet Tubman. It's good to celebrate all these wonderful ladies who's done some great works, you know what I mean, over the years for all of us, to pave the way. But it's also good to celebrate who is around now. Yeah? Who is around now? What they're doing with us now in our time. Let's celebrate all the women, what we see who's doing our time. And like, I'm not talking about celebrities, right? I'm not talking about celebrities. I'm talking about the ordinary people on the street, the ordinary people who works in the health service, the ordinary people who helped us day in, day out. It's good to celebrate those people. And as I say, I'm not talking about not celebrating our past heroes or the guys who actually paved the way, because that is also good. Because I myself have got sort of do that myself. You know what I mean? So I sort of what you can say, I sort of not a mistake, but I sort of fall into that category where I'm actually celebrating the ladies from the past, which is nothing wrong with that. I say, instead of celebrating the ladies from now or in our time now, and it's actually good to do that. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Maureen, your final word on that subject?
Yes, definitely celebrate womanhood, really. Yeah. And like you said, it's not just women from the past.
No.
And it's not just famous women who everybody knows about.
Exactly.
It's the neighbour next door who cares for her mum.
Yeah.
Or, I've got colleagues who care for...
Or the lady who's struggling with her children to do this or to do that.
Exactly.
Who run around with the children and then still have to come and help out the neighbour.
Exactly. And like my mum, who came from Jamaica, and she had to overcome a lot of racism and stuff like that to bring up 4 kids. You know what I mean? All them things, those are the heroes too. Unsung heroes, you call them, don't you? And many of us can tell that story.
Yeah, same with my mother. You know what I mean? Come with my mother in the 60s, when it was such a very, very bad time. Go to all the racist thing and struggle in the ice and the snow and to do this. You know what I mean? To all those, and to sort of make a life for us. And even I'm sitting here now. I'm sitting here now, and this is down to my mother. A lot of the stuff you hear coming out my head, it's my mother talking. Because my mother was a very, very clever lady. She was very, very smart. She knows. My mother actually knows the history of the world. And that's not something you mess with. She knows the whole history of the world, from the Bible to the history of wherever it wants to go. So she was good like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I say big shout out to all the mothers out there. Maureen, have you got another poem for us?
Let me have a look. Yes, this one's called Player Hater.
Player Hater.
Christian woman, please gird up your loins, for there are wolves who come in sheep clothing for your gems to purloin. Don't be fooled by their glitter, nor be swayed by the gab, 'cause they don't want the purchase, they want to snatch and grab. They have egos that feed on revolving doors and an appetite for conquest and evening the scores. They have very little emotion, gritting their teeth only for the kill. So please, daughters of God, don't surrender your will. Esau gave up his birthright for a pottage of soup. He lost more than he bargained for. He was well and truly duped. Know who you are in God. Don't rely on any man to define the intricate machinations of your beauty in the guise to infest your mind. Guide your heart with caution. Live your life wise. Don't throw care to the wind, letting dust blind your eyes. Put before God your passions and trust him to clearly show the hazards from the safety holes and where your feet should go. I know it isn't easy when shelf life is near to expire and when fear tosses your hopes on the funeral pyre. But don't hang your head, lower your gaze, always keep focused, because God loves his women deeply and promised to never forsake us. When God called the fools, he gave the tools to understand the trickery of the player and the sleight of his hand. It's your choice whether or not to believe when God reveals exactly what's up the player's sleeve. So don't come with no excuse or a finger of blame to point when you negated the truth and the right actions to a point. Beware of the hearts and spirits broken. Don't add yours to the group, 'cause some never mend and some from hell never recoup. So wake up, Christian woman. Time to take your stand. Reclaim your heart from the gutter and get your head out of the sand.
Marvelous. How long does it take you to write those?
It depends, Sometimes it can be quick.
What is the name of your book?
Well, this
Well,
book
give
is
it
not out yet.
It's not. Well,
It's not. I'm still sorting it out.
Can we have the exclusive to it? Are you going to tell us what it's called?
I'll tell you what it's called. It's called The Pros and Cons.
Well, hold it up.
Oh, sorry.
Hold it up.
Hold it up in pride.
Hold it
Yes,
up.
it's called The Pros and Cons.
Yeah. Yes.
So
And the author is.
and the author is
yes.
Maureen Watson.
Maureen Watson.
It's not yet out.
Yeah, let's
but,
tell us. And how many books have you written?
well, I've just done one,
Mm-hmm.
but I've got this one and I've got another one that's done already. But I'm just trying to sort out publishing.
And what's that one called?
That one's called. I've got to try and remember it now. Right, I'm trying to be very clever how I'm doing this book. So it's called. I'll call it the what is it? It's not the Heart's Cry, the Soul's Cry, the Soul's Cry. That's
Now,
what that one's
let me
called.
ask you a quick question then. How do you find the time to do that? Where do you find the time? How do you do it?
Oh boy,
Yeah.
sometimes it's just if something happens
Yeah.
in life that really bugs you, then it's
So
you know.
so it's
So
like
it can be an anger, it can be a joke, it can be yeah.
so it's like a musician writing a song.
It's like that,
It's
yeah.
a music because I've written songs, so it's like a musical. It's like a musician it comes to your mind and you write the
That's
song.
right. So you come in and write it,
And you
yeah.
write it. Yeah, so I understand
Yeah.
that now. Yeah. But I always see artists are different from musicians. You know, I always see that. You know, so I always from musician who's actually writing. So I always
Yeah, so you understand.
I understand
Yeah.
it. Okay, guys, while I mention musician, don't forget, big shout to my good friend Errol. Big shout to you. Don't forget to check out our EP, Guitar. On the track, You Left Me for Paris. Mandela, Set Your Spirit Free, I Shall Rise. Shall I repeat again? I Shall Rise. Paris, Set Your Spirit Free. Mandela, check out our EP. Big shout out to you, Errol. Now, my final little rant, because my time is going.
Ooh.
Final little rant, my time is going. My time is on account now. Now, wow, the war. Now we see the war in Ukraine and Russia. It's been over a year. Yes. We see thousands of people dying from both sides. We see Russia sending troops into Ukraine. They're dying. We see the combat in Ukraine where the president are sending people and they're also killing. We see a lot of refugees coming to the UK from the Ukraine. The question I want to ask is, who is winning this war? Is anybody winning this war? And how long is this war going to go for? And is the West going to back Mr. Putin up into a corner where he's left with no choice to hit all of us with a nuclear bomb? Now, I know a lot of people in the West think, oh, we can get rid of him easy like that. Well, if you could have get rid of him easy like that, it would have happened already. Yes, common sense. I only deal with common sense. So, it is important that these guys start getting together. I don't know what is happening, because we don't know what's happening under the quiet. It is important that these guys to get together and try and sort this out, because too many people has died. Yes, we see the West put sanctions on Russia. Some people say Russia is doing better than us, because in our country we got cost of living crisis, we got everything is going up, and since they put sanctions on Russia, Russia still is there. The other thing as well, we don't know what's going to happen or how things going to shape up, where you don't know if China's going to join up with Russia. You don't know if Iran's going to join up with Russia. Yes. You know, China has invested all across the world. Africa, the Americas, Canada, the Caribbean.
Yeah.
When you start a war with China, what's going to happen then? If China gets involved with that war, what is going to happen? So, they've got nuclear. Russia's got nuclear. A lot of countries in NATO's got nuclear. So, I myself, Mr. President of the United States, because I know you're a major influence, I myself, I think you should call Mr. Putin up, and I think you should call the President of Ukraine up, and sit down and say, let's have a decent chat. Yeah, we see the same thing went on in Afghanistan for so many years, where we see Russia and literally America was fighting. You know what I mean? Those two sides was actually fighting, even though, because there was one side was supplying this side, and that side was supplying that side. Those weapons cost a lot of money. The weapons that's going into Ukraine cost a lot of money. Yes. And it's put pressure on our country. And it put pressure on different parts of the world. We see the oil, all that sort of thing. So, I don't know who's right in this because there's no rights. And you could say there's no wrong. All I know the wrong is that millions and thousands of people are dying from both sides. I think it is time, as I say, for me, who's not as powerful as you guys, who's just an ordinary man in the streets, I think it's time we get together and see when we can work something out. And it's no use we in the West say, oh, we can get rid of Putin anytime. He's got big guns, he's got big weapons, and he's got nuclear. That is the big thing. Back in the day, they used to say nuclear was a weapon to deterrent. Now we don't know what's going to happen because everybody seems like they're just getting up. I'm marching up to the hill, I'm marching up to the hill, I'm marching up to the hill. And nobody wants to march down again.
It's true. So I have to laugh. I'm not laughing business.
No, it's not a laugh. It's not a laughing business. It's a reality of things.
It's a reality, yeah.
And as I say, we the people of the streets are the people of the world. We are concerned because all you tough guys or you big politicians or wherever you are, Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. this and Mr. that, you've all got your bunker to go in.
Yeah.
If something happens, you all got your bunker to go in. You can't all go and hide. And when you can't go hide out there with the family for years and years and years, till all that is gone. We, the ordinary people of the street, we don't have nowhere to go. We can't hide anywhere. We've got nowhere to go. And we are the ones going to feel it. War is no good for anybody. Edwin Starr says it long time ago. War, what is it good for?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. You know that song, don't you?
Yeah, I know that one.
It's not a funny thing, but
no.
I just had to put that in because and I put it in because it's over a year.
Yeah.
And nobody is winning the war.
No.
Even though we may see people say they're winning the war, but as far as I'm concerned, and as far as a lot of people concerned, nobody's winning the war. And we're not knocking anybody in the West. Let me just get that clear, you know what I mean? But if you're an ordinary person and you've got concern, you have to be concerned about this. And it's no use like some of us now, some of the people from my sort of race say, oh, let them go on over there with it, it now affect us. It's gonna affect all of us.
Yes.
It's gonna affect all of us if we break out. Yeah. Because the world is big, but it's still a very, very small place. Yeah. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Well, it's affecting us now, isn't it?
Of course it's affecting us now.
We're still feeling it.
Of course, we're all feeling it. Yeah. You know what I mean? We're all feeling it. Yeah. Of course it's affecting us now. Maureen.
Yes, my dear.
Yes, my dear. I like it. Yes, my dear. Let me say thank you for coming into our program.
Thank you very much. Yes. Thank you for having me,
you know,
as usual.
You're welcome.
Yes, I'm waiting for some food now. Next. Can I just shout out to Big Ship Alliance?
Big Ship Alliance.
You know, remember us.
Oh, yeah, you can shout out who you want to say.
Yeah, Big Ship Alliance.
Big Ship Alliance. Tell us where you're at.
We're going to be at, now you're asking. I know we're going to be at the Jam House. We're going to be at the Boldmere Suite. Okay. There's various places. If you go on our website, on our fan page, you'll see all you need to know. Yeah. So just come along, man, and support us. Marvelous. And I'll give you a bear hug when you come.
Give you a bear hug. What's one of them? Have you ever given me one of them?
I've given you one. Oh, yeah. I've been gentle, though, you know. I don't want to break your back.
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon. I've got broad shoulders. Oh God! I want to say big shout out to you. I'm speaking of Big Ship Alliance. You can go to one of our shows that we actually did with Big Ship Alliance, and we actually recorded Big Ship Alliance at the Here and Hound.
Did a good job as well
in King City. You was there.
Excellent job you did.
We actually recorded Big Ship Alliance, and you can go and watch that. Just click on it, Big Ship Alliance Breakthrough TV. And you actually see that one of our recording, we actually did that, which is actually marvelous. And we actually do quite a few different recordings. We actually did Freddie McGregor in Aston Park, 0121. You can go and check that out as well. You can also go and check out, we was actually celebrating the Jamaica independence. And we also, Great Yellow Man also was at Aston Park. And we also celebrated, Third World at the Simmerdown Festival. I want to say a big shout out to you. Thank you for tuning in. My time is almost here. God bless you. Look after yourself. We're back here next week. And happy International Women's Day. God bless. We're out.